Hey, and welcome to Your Health Truth. I'm your host, Brock Hardman, and today we are talking about enemas and colonics. Yes, just what you woke up this morning and so desperately wanted to hear about. I know for some of you, it may be kind of a gross topic. For others, I think it's going to be a good one for you to hear. And hopefully, it's not too gross or too graphic, but I feel that I would be basically doing you a great disservice if I did not at least discuss this topic. So, what we're going to talk about is, and we're not going to be really talking in depth today. It's more kind of a high level overview. In the future, I think I'm going to get to talking about both of these individually and more detailed level. But today we're going to have just kind of a high overview about them and why they are important. And they're basically colonics and enemas, okay? And some of you may not even know what those are. So basically what colonics and enemas are a way to clean out your colon. And most people will go their whole lives and never do it. And I probably would have been one of those people had I not had the health challenges I had and were kind of forced to just experiment and kind of do whatever I could to feel better. So I luckily stumbled across this procedure, and lo and behold, about an hour afterwards was the best that I had ever felt in my entire life. So I thought, maybe there's something to this thing. And so from there, that's where the story begins. I started basically giving myself homemade enemas for about, 6 months or so. I would do it once a week. And until I actually figured out why my digestive system wasn't working properly, I had to do that to feel better. And so once I fixed my digestion, I no longer had to do those. Now the difference between a colonic and an enema is pretty important, because enemas are great, and Hippocrates, who's kind of the grandfather of medicine, if you will, he used to use them on most of his people they even had it to where it was kind of a religious experience, because it made people feel so good that they kind of turned it into a spiritual kind of deal. And so that's kind of where enemas started. The difference between an enema and a colonic is that a colonic is where you go into a certain facility, and they have a table where you sit, and you have constant water that fills your entire ascending and descending colon. So the whole colon. Now an enema just basically gets one side; it doesn't get your entire colon. But the great thing about a colonic is that it gets your entire colon. And so that's the difference between the two. Colonic is obviously better, but if you don't live in an area where you can go get a colonic, then I would probably try to start with an enema, do some research. It's going to take you a couple of tries to get it down. It's going to be uncomfortable, might even be painful, just because your colon is not used to stretching and expanding. And but just trust me that it's good for you, and you will feel much better afterwards. My story was that I was at home on a lunch break. This was back 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and I'd been doing a lot of experimentations. I'd been trying a lot of things. My digestion was bad. My elimination was very infrequent. I went from constipation to just I know y'all don't want to hear about that, but there's probably a lot of people out there that are going through the same thing, and so this is good stuff to know. So I was at home, and I tried what's called a fleet enema, which you can get at Walgreens, Walmart, wherever, and it's basically just a little tube of liquid that you insert into your colon. And from that point, I was driving back to work, and I literally felt like a different human being. I was actually calm and no stress. I felt great, and I didn't know what was going on. And then I'm like, wow, I wonder if it was that enema. And sure enough, it was. So that started me on a trend of doing my own enemas until I found out about colonics. And now colonics are great because, the analogy I like to give is that your colon, think of it as kind of a pipe. And however old you are, I don't care if you're 20, or if you're 80, if you've never cleaned your colon out, you're really doing your body a great disservice. I mean, not only does it, minimize the risk of colon cancer, but it just makes you feel better. So basically, however old you are, think of it as a pipe that's that old. If you had a 30-year-old house that under the sink had a 30-year-old pipe, guess what's going to be in the pipe? There's going to be a lot of buildup and grease and gunk and a bunch of crap. So you want to get that stuff out of there. And your colon is kind of the same thing. So you've had food and bacteria and feces and you name it running through that for 30, 40, 50 years, however old you are. So there's bound to be stuff that's basically caked on the walls of your colon. And so what a colonic does is it comes in, it stretches that stuff out, the water comes in, and it basically breaks it up and flushes it out. And you get to actually see what comes out. And it's not awesome. It's extremely disgusting. And so, some people are going to be like, you know what, that's just gross and I don't want to see that. And they won't go do it. Even though they know that they have stuff in their colon. I don't know. I don't get it. But, if I knew that I had stuff that could be killing me in my colon, I'd want it out of there. So that's what I really like about a colonic is that, it's $60, $60, $70, and it's 1 hour deal and you're done. And now, if you don't live in a city that has that service, then one of two things: you can either give yourselves enemas like I did, or find a city that has it. I think that's going to be your best bet. And that's it. I don't want to get too much into the different types of enemas yet. I'm going to save that for a different day. I just wanted you to be aware of the profound impact that cleaning your colon has on not only your colon health, but your entire well-being. And so hopefully you can take that to heart. If you're struggling with digestion, or maybe you're constipated all the time, or you just have infrequent bowel movements, this may be something to kind of kickstart your learning about what could be causing your problems. So hopefully this finds you well, and go give it a try. Thank you.